Let me guess. You're confused. You just downloaded 270 and you've got questions. Hi, I'm Brendan Borman, and this is 270 Academy. Today, we're going to answer all of the most frequently asked questions about the mobile game 270. If I missed one, leave a comment and I'll answer it. And subscribe if you like 270 and you would like more content like this. What is 270? Where can I play? Do I need an account? These are all questions that we get every single day. It's a turn-based election strategy game, and you can play on your mobile or PC. You can find it on Steam, the Apple Store, or Google Play. I recommend that you get an account because it tracks your wins. Also, you can make purchases. What game modes are available and where should I start? I would start by clicking the orange button, the single play, where you can play against the AI. There is not a timer, and if you mess up, just start over. When you upgrade to harder, you can play against your friends with the purple or green buttons, or you can play against me in the public lobby. The public lobby, you should use the 5-minute timer when starting so you can analyze your opponent and go from there. I would recommend using balanced candidates like Independent Bernie or Donald Trump, or if you like Republican strategies, Base Trump, John McCain, or Ted Cruz are good, or Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders are good for Democrats. How do I campaign in a state? To campaign in a state, you simply click on it, and then you move up the ladder from left to right. In this example, Donald Trump has moved up to the 5th pip, meaning he has spent $42,500 5 times. Right now, he's in the lead. He'll get credit for those 16 electoral votes, and he's past the 3rd pip, so we'll get credit for those icons, African American agriculture, manufacturing, the Old South, and swing states. More about that in a little bit. What decides who wins a state? So in this example, Donald Trump is not facing any pressure. He's uncontested to the 10th pip, which means he's actually locked the state. So he would get those 16 electoral votes uncontested. Is there a tutorial in the game? Yes, you can find the tutorial button on the main screen. Click where the arrow is. It teaches the buttons, but not strategy. If you want strategy, check out other videos on this channel, and I will go into deeper conversations about the bonuses, how to win, mistakes that early players make, etc. What are state groups and what are national groups? State groups are listed on the left. They range from African American to swing states to high tech. Those are bonuses that you can spend to defend those states. The national groups are extra free cash that you make an initial investment, and then the rest of the game, it pays off and you get extra money. How do group bonuses actually work? Again, this is probably the most important concept for new players to understand. I have a whole series dedicated to this. Check that out. But what you should know is state groups, you need to go to the 3rd rung, and national groups, you need to get to that 4th rung. Those lines are a little bit darker on the screen. What happens if I miss my turn? If you miss your turn, funds do roll over. So that's a good thing if you have like a connection issue. But keep in mind, if you do not make a turn 3 consecutive times, you'll actually forfeit the game. You can also forfeit the game by hitting settings and the forfeit button. If you happen to lose a bonus when you don't make a move, those bonus funds will go away also. Do I need to win every single state? No, just like in real life, you can win the presidential election with 270 electoral votes. That's the magic number. It's not who wins all of the states. Sometimes it's a landslide, and sometimes it's neck and neck. That's one thing that makes 270 really fun. Is it the first player to win 270 that wins? No, not by a long shot. In fact, if you spread out too much, you're probably going to lose early on. It's about having 270 at that critical moment that we call the battle round. In 1v1, the ballot round is the last round of the game. In multiplayer, it could be. How do tournaments work? So on the left, you'll see community tournaments that are found inside the 270 lounge or in other places on the internet. And on the right, you'll see official tournaments, which is the red button on the main screen. The official tournaments usually happen around holidays and offer cash prizes or Amazon gift cards. What is a ballot round and when does it happen? So I mentioned ballot rounds. Ballot rounds happen at the end of the game. So every state has to be entered into, meaning they're not white. Someone controls it and is getting credit toward those electoral votes. And also, if you look at the states, some of them are locked in, meaning you can no longer invest in them. Those check marks that you see, that is what means the state is locked. Once every state is entered into and a total of 100 electoral votes are locked in, we will have a ballot round the next turn. It's kind of complicated, but something you have to learn to master the game. What happens in a 269 to 269 electoral vote tie? Well, it's just like real life. So it depends who actually has control in the real life House of Representatives. If it's a Democrat versus a Democrat or Republican versus a Republican, there are other mechanics inside the game. So see if you can figure that out and leave a comment in this video. Can I play for free? Is 270 pay to win? It is free to play, and definitely experience and skill matters way more than purchases. But if you do make purchases, there are some things that can help you win the game. Oftentimes, community tournaments and official tournaments outlaw those upgrades. How do I unlock free candidates? So there are promotions that happen all the time. You can get push notifications on the app. You can join the 270 lounge. And actually, I've been given permission by the 270 team to give away some candidates this month. So anyone who subscribes in the next 2 months after this video is released will be entered into a drawing. I expect to give away 50 candidates in the next couple months. Is a subscription worth it? Well, it depends on how much you play. If you are an avid player, yes, a subscription maximizes the different combinations you can play. If you're not playing all the time, maybe just get a subscription for 1 month and then you can add it later on. If you do make a purchase and you want to share it across devices, you can send a feedback message and just kind of let them know which accounts that you want to merge together, and the admin team can do that for you. Is buying a vice president worth it? Yes, vice presidents are super strong. They are cheap compared to candidates, and they last forever. So once you buy a candidate, a VP slot for RBG here, it gives you 3 extra increases to the bonuses and 1 penalty. So in this instance, she gets stronger in the national groups. What are party funds? Party funds are basically a extra asset that you can get. It's only in AI mode and it costs 99 cents. Hopefully I can teach you enough on this channel that you do not have to buy party funds, because honestly, it doesn't really matter. It's against the AI, but you do you. What is a debate? A debate is a extra game mode within the game that players can launch to answer trivia questions and earn extra money. Whoever launches a debate actually has to pay a cash entry fee, and everyone else gets to play for free. You have to get all the questions right to get the money, and honestly, they're very rare. Can I play with my friends? Yes, we've already talked about it, but again, if you made it this far and you didn't hear that, you can go back and watch it. On the initial screen, if you hit the purple button or the green button, you can play with your friends. Doesn't matter if they're Republican or Democrat. It's not really a political game in the sense of where politics matter. It's a strategy game, and it's super fun. Is there a community? Yes. Join the 270 Lounge. Currently, we have over 13,000 members. I am a moderator in the group. There's also a Reddit community. There's a Steam group, and there are several different Discords. If you join the 270 Facebook Lounge, I know Facebook is not for everyone, we can get you connected with Discord links. How do I find games faster? Well, sometimes, there are peak times where there are so many different games, and sometimes there's hardly anyone in the lobby. For public lobby matches, you can always join communities and make posts, but really the primary modes is where you're going to have a hard time actually finding matches. So primary mode, there's Republican mode, there's Democrat primary mode, and if you want to play those, you're probably going to need to join a community where you can make posts. I made a video on my channel about primary mode. It's tough. It's kind of a niche game. Hopefully the 270 team continues to make improvements to that mode as we go in the future. If you have a bug, you should send a feedback message. You should also clear your cache and cookie. Sometimes that helps. But sometimes we get competitive and a bug makes you lose. They're very rare, but send a feedback message and they usually will make it right. Can I play historical maps? Historical maps is something that the 270 development team is working on. Currently, the game has transitioned from 2016 to 2020 to now 2024. You cannot play historical maps currently, but again, if you're trying to recreate history, that's something you can do by doing fictional matchups. Should I focus on state or national groups? Well, it totally depends. I strongly recommend starting with state groups if you are a beginner. That way you can learn the ropes. But national groups are risky. They give you more money, but the opportunity cost is your opponent gets control of the board, what states they want to make. What is the biggest beginner mistake that I see? It's spreading out too thin or over defending. Just because someone invests in your state doesn't mean they're going to overtake you. If you spread out with your bonus funds and kind of strategically defend and kind of play on the margins, you can definitely beat someone who over invests in states that don't matter. What is the fastest way to improve? So, playing more games, obviously that's common sense, but if you watch your opponents and what they do and how they get money, you can mimic their strategies and then kind of make small tweaks of what you're comfortable with. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm sure I missed some questions. Please, please, please leave them in the comments below and I will be sure to interact with you. And I will give away some candidates. So subscribe if you're new. Thanks for watching.